Yeah, this is going to be really nice here because I think I had trouble with the Mania from here because it's so responsive, and so I had to really lay out of it to keep it from booming. This one I can lay out of it, but then it rounds off the back end more because it doesn't have the super high differential. So it's pretty good. A little bit far out, but Tour ASM for the win.
Hammer's Black Widow Tour V1 is releasing on September 18th, so a little quicker turnaround than normal. With the bowling season back in full swing, they wanted to get stuff to you faster, and with the group of releases this month, the sooner the better. We are at Royal Crest Lanes in Lawrence, Kansas on the Kegel Chromium Challenge pattern. The graph is linked in the description if you would like to see the pattern details. If you don't understand layouts or core numbers, I have some instructional videos linked in the description that explain and illustrate everything perfectly. I'm surprised we haven't had a Widow Tour before. I'm not complaining, and I'm not sure it's anything anyone's necessarily been begging for. It's just that with as popular as the line is, and as long as it's been around, it just seems like something that would have happened before now. What's really interesting here, though, is that the RG and the int diff, or the asymmetry, does not change from the original gas mask core. It's got the same 250 RG and 016 int diff, but the differential on the Tour or low diff version drops down to 034 instead of the huge 058 the regular core has. Now, all they're doing here is knocking down the diff to reduce the flare, but this still ends up being the most asymmetric Tour asym on the market, if that makes sense. The cover is the same as the 2.0 hybrid also, HK22 aggression hybrid, and it comes at 3000 grit, so this is basically, for all intents and purposes, a lower diff or smoother Black Widow 2.0 hybrid. This is going to be a hard one to hold down the excitement on, and I mean, apparently I'm not allowed to say anything bad about it anyway, right? Doesn't say that in the NDA, and I've never been told that, but that's the rumor, so I don't want to disappoint anyone. I love the line. The Mania is my ball of the year. I put a ton of games on it. It's gone everywhere, and this is a little earlier and smoother version of that, so this is kind of an all-stars align type of ball for me. That doesn't mean it will be for you, though, so I'll still break it down and be as fair as I can. The reaction shape is, I think, rounder and more continuous than the rest of the Black Widow line, even with the Mania being rounder and more continuous than something like the 2.0 hybrid, which was more arcy and lean continuous, but was still somewhat directional. Same thing for the 3.0. But without that huge diff number, this one blends the friction response more, so it rounds out the reaction on the back end more. Now again, you saw the first several shots. There was still a lot more pop than I was expecting. I was playing it to be more like an Ion Pro, which it's very close to on paper. This one's definitely stronger and sharper down lane, but it still fits the Tour asym zone. Once I got up to speed, though, the sky was the limit. There wasn't a zone on the lane that this one didn't succeed in, and with very little help and very small adjustments. A little easier with it from straighter, a little slower with it from deeper, but it did the thing from everywhere. I did film the maximum effect before this one, but my game doesn't transition a lane much, and I hadn't started to feel any transition yet at this point, so I think this one can be a fresh condition ball on medium heavy and medium long conditions and down. I think you'll need more ball for heavier and longer stuff, but that should be kind of a given or expected. I think it's going to prefer straighter than fourth arrow for most people, but I had no trouble getting it to boom from deeper. This is about as well balanced and well placed of a ball as I've ever thrown. It's not super clean and quick like a Mania, it's not even as dynamic as the 2.0 hybrid, but that one could be a little too quick for people sometimes too, but it's also not as smooth as an Obsession Tour or an Effect Tour. It's fairly close to the Ion Pro Solid actually, but I still think this one gets the edge. It's just one of the most user-friendly and versatile balls I've ever thrown, at first glance of course. Typically I don't get crossed up. What I get in filming is what I get in leagues and tournaments, but sometimes things do end up changing, so I need to get some actual use on it before I can just go to Pride Rock and raise it up like Simba, but all indications are very positive. This ball will fit for the largest range of bowlers a ball could possibly fit for. It's more than medium strength, so even being a tour or mild asym, it's still asym, and the cover is also in the medium-high strength direction too, but unless you throw it a million and have a negative rev rate, or throw it really slow and rip the cover off, you'll be able to use it. If you can use a Black Widow, or an Ion Pro, or an Obsession Tour, Attention Star, so on and so forth, you can use this ball. The other perk here is that it's Black Widow price. At $170, it's also the cheapest Tour asym out there right now, outside of Motive's weird pricing. It's less than the Ion Pros at $200, less than even their own Effect Tour at $195, and while the Black Venom is lower at $150, they did bump up the Lethal to $175. We also have something awesome to debut here as well. It's a collection from CoolWick benefiting the local rescue that we support and fundraise for, which is Positive Tales KC. Every year we do a fundraiser and giveaway for Positive Tales in December, but CoolWick reached out and offered to help all year round by creating an apparel line. We have jerseys and t-shirts and even tank tops with $5 per tank or t-shirt and $15 per jersey going to the rescue. More info will be coming soon in its own dedicated video, but I am wearing one of the designs. Angel features another colorway in the Fusion Hybrid review as well. Just follow the link in the description to the collection if you're interested. Any support is greatly appreciated. The discount codes will not work on these items, of course. They're for charity, so we wanted to make sure the rescue gets as much as possible. I think this is a low 2-ball or a high 3-ball depending on what you use. It is still sideways of something like the Mania. I feel like they're about the same strength. This one is just earlier and smoother. And the Mania is more of a cleaner medium strength type of ASIM anyway, like a Gremlin. So if you go Extreme Envy or Mesmerize and then step down to a Criterion Hybrid or one of the stronger shiny balls like that, then this one would fit under that. But if your one ball is a Black Widow 3.0 or a Theorem Solid or a Criterion, this would be the ball down from that. It's hard to give something an A+ without knowing where it's going to end up, but realistically, the grade is based on my experience in the review, and I had an A+ experience during filming. I expect this one to resonate with most other people in the same way as well. I know I was very high on the Mania 2, and it's been hit or miss for people because of how clean and sharp it is, but I think I gave the Ion Pro Solid an A+, and I think it's lived up to the hype. Now again, the Black Widow Tour V1 I think still edges it out, and it's $30 cheaper than the Ion Pro. I tried something different with a live comm and don't really think it worked out, but I still have some moments if you want to check that out and get some in-the-moment thoughts as well as a different camera angle coming up next. As always, if you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave those below.
Alright, so we're going to try something a little bit different here. Here's a ball I'm very excited for, and this actually got me back. I haven't bowled in 2 months. I just finished filming for the Maximum Effect. That went pretty okay. I had a little bit of an injury that sidelined me for a minute, but I had to drill this ball, so I may or may not be ready to come back yet, but we're going to do the thing anyway. Black Widow Tour V1 here. Very first shot I've thrown with it. Cool. That's one of the coolest big fours I've ever left. It's really good. Cool. So we're off to a hot start so far. Get this sucker dialed in. That's really good. Ow. So even though I haven't struck with it yet, I really like the way that it rolls. We don't, unless you're scoring with a ball, I don't care what's going on down there. I want to see how the ball rolls, where it's going to fit. If you just look at whether a ball strikes or not, you're going to make really poor decisions on you're not going to be able to read ball reaction very well and make very poor adjustment decisions. It is important, obviously, for a ball to strike at some point, but we're testing it out here. Cool. So yes, this does look like a Black Widow. And the other thing is too, that the cover is HK22 Aggression Hybrid at 3000 grit. That is the cover from the Black Widow 2.0 Hybrid. So this is also a hybrid. So this is basically a lower differential, slightly textured out of the box version of the 2.0 hybrid. Reset. Again, it does come at 3000 grit. I don't necessarily like box finishes at 3000 grit. I would rather them be polished or chalky. The 3000, 4000 grit range tends to be a little too much and not enough all at the same time. So that's why I think I'm getting the kind of a little bit of over-under here. But again, with this being, this is kind of a Tour ASIM in the realm of a Hammer Effect Tour or an Ion Pro. Probably the closest comparison is going to be the original Ion Pro. if you're looking for something that's more of a direct comparison, this does have the highest int diff, or the highest asymmetry. This is kind of getting up into anything under 0.15 on asymmetry is generally considered a mild asim, so it's more than a symmetric ball to give you a little bit of torque down lane, but it's not quite the full amount of like a regular asim, so it kind of gives you something in between there. But this one at 0.16 is the highest of the Tour asims right now. But with the differential being knocked down, it's kind of in interesting territory. That's way outside, but that'll hook. Okay, yeah. Too far outside, but I caught it. The core numbers are a very tight range too. So you don't have like the 16-pound version of the Black Widows, I believe, do have a lower, I think they're 0.48, so they do have a lot lower differential already than the 14 and 15. These numbers are a little tighter for whatever reason. That's really good. Like I say, if that didn't pack 10 back, I was going to have some words to say. So it's just kind of figuring out what touch I need to give to the ball. The Black Widow Mania, spoiler alert, when we're voting later on the positive tails, there's a little bit of positive tails stuff going on here for our fundraiser at the end of the year. The Mania is my ball of the year, and I don't really see that changing because it's been amazing for me since it came out. I've got it on the rack down here. This one does remind me of a tamer, a little bit smoother Mania, which I'm really liking. Hopefully you still saw it on the upper camera. We're still fighting through a little bit of I'm still a little bit weak here. I had a pinched nerve and it went down into my shoulders and I couldn't lift my arms for a while, and so now I've gotten function back, but I'm still a little weak generally, and so the backswing is a little lacking here. But yeah, so far I'm hoping it gets a little bit of lane shine on it here quickly, because that's where I think I'm gonna like it at. Let me throw one more shot here and then we'll straighten out. It's pretty good. A little bit far out, but Tour ASIM for the win. So the reaction shape is actually very similar. I'm just gonna go ahead and throw the Mania. It's very similar to the Mania, actually. It's that rounder kind of half continuous. It's mostly continuous, some little bit directional, but this one is, I think, more continuous than the regular Black Widows. But let me throw the Mania here. So you can see it's still that traditional black. It's not like they made it a tour version and it completely changed the Black Widow shape. It's a Black Widow kind of shape with just a little bit smoother reaction down lane. The box surface is going to do that, but the lower differential is going to reduce the flare, and it's just going to make it a little bit slower down lane. Caught that one a little bit too much, but you can see what I'm talking about. You can see the very similar overall shape there. So this is kind of I think this one is also a little bit rounder and more continuous than the 2.0 hybrid was. So I think that's something you can also see too. But the 2.0 hybrid, again, was also mostly continuous, but somewhat directional too. You could get it to go straighter off the end of the pattern if you wanted to, but it still did kind of want to continue. It had that kind of archy, round kind of combination to it. So we're going to go ahead and straighten out a little bit here. Start talking about where it likes to play at. I think this is going to be really nice. So standing on 16. 10 to 5-ish. Yeah, this is going to be really nice here because I think I had trouble with the Mania from here because it's so responsive, and so I had to really lay out of it to keep it from booming. This one I can lay out of it, but then it rounds off the back end more because it doesn't have the super high differential. So I did drill an Ion Pro, but mine for whatever reason was so bad that I didn't even make a video for it. I have seen plenty of people throwing it that it looked really good for, so I think I probably just got a dud. But this kind of reminds me what of what the Ion Pro does. If mine would have not been an absolute dumpster fire. Cool. So yeah, even though I'm still a little shaky, my backswing's still trying to get it there, but I didn't want to miss this ball. As odd as it seems for somebody that drills a lot of stuff for, ball reviewers, and sometimes it gets to be like, gosh, there's more bowling balls, and every single time they come out, it's like more bowling balls and more bowling balls. But every once in a while, we still do have lines that we like or other things that we like, and I just have really liked the Black Widow line in general. And so something that is a little bit smoother for when the Mania is great, but sometimes it's just a little too flippy. And so something for when the Mania kind of fits, but it's just a little too responsive, that's going to be great to just plug this one in and go.
This video was brought to you by Panda Bear Productions. We put the in bowling.